Good morning, guys. I want to start this new little segment that we will call early morning coffee. So basically what it's going to be about is a few different videos and like a weekly update of stuff that happened through the week in the audiophile home theater community. Some new things to come, new kit, new amplifiers, new speakers that we know of, and things that are happening, and just talking about audio in general. I'll when I do the videos, I'll do a subtitle for what the topic of that day is. So today, the thing I want to talk about is basically receivers and the reliability of them and what brands are most reliable. I will also mention the pros and cons of said brands. So before we start, this is entirely my own view out of experience that I've had with my own kit. And as you guys know, I sell to customers as well. So I see firsthand what the comeback rate is of different amplifiers and the problems that they have. So everyone might have a different experience. You do get Friday units, as they call them, that always just give problems. Some people might have no problems. So views are entirely my own and my own experience. Okay, so basically, firstly, different segments for this. Don't ever think that high-end kits or expensive stuff does not break. Electronics break. Some of them are built better than others, but electronics will always break where electronics are involved. It's just one of those things. So that is why it's always good when you're buying secondhand to properly go through the stuff, see if they've been repaired, see if they've been misused. And the way I always do this, it's actually a topic for another video, but let's go into it. When you're buying something new, it's got warranties. Even if you're buying from a reputable dealer like myself, and I sell you a unit that is open box demo unit, that means I used it for demonstration or for viewing purposes in my areas. So when I sell it on, it comes with warranty. It comes boxed as new. So it's a no-brainer purchase. But when you're buying from someone that is average Joe soap and he's used it for a few years, there's no warranty and you need to check reliability. So the way I always do this is just look at the unit overall. Has it been maintained properly? Scratches, dings, lots of dust buildup. Does it smell like smoke? All of those things for me are a no-go. Or if it's a very good price, I would just look a bit deeper. Take the unit out, look at the back. How have things been plugged in? Have they been plugged in with care, or have they been plugged in blindly where you can't see, everything's been scratched? Because HDMI, if you do a blind plug and even if power on the units are off, but they plugged into a wall, there's still a current going through there. So if you plug in an HDMI, never do a hot plug. And if you do a hot plug, there's a way to do it safely. You go over the edge of the HDMI tip into the port so you don't touch any metal around the side and put it in. But don't chance it, rather plug out. So blind plugs, while you're doing that, that plug is earthing on the chassis and it causes a short. That can make the board blow. If the board on your receiver goes, ready yourself for a 10,000 Rand plus bill. It's expensive. Sometimes on smaller receivers, it's not even economical to repair. They just scrap it, give you a new unit via insurance or whatever route you're going. So that's basically when you're buying secondhand. Okay, so back onto reliability. You get your mainstream brands: Denon, Marantz, Yamaha, Onkyo. Pioneer, soon to be back in SA. So those are your mainstream brands. Then you get your more bespoke brands from smaller companies, almost like you would do with cars. You get your BMW, Mercedes. That's your mainstream high-end, medium to high-end stuff. Then you get your bespoke brands like in cars, Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren. These will be Rotel, NAD, Anthem. Am I leaving anyone out here? If I'm leaving anyone out, sorry guys, I'm just making an example of the higher stuff. Pros and cons here. Your more mainstream guys, Denon, Marantz, Yamaha, Onkyo, Pioneer. Those have more, how can I say? Don't want to say more money behind them, but they're bigger corporations. Again, like BMW, Mercedes, more R&D, more money gets pushed into those brands. Those are the ones I would go for. They are the safer option. They also have more toys, more bells and whistles, again, because there's more R&D behind them. The smaller companies, they go more bespoke. They'll aim on a certain segment of doing something, and they won't care about all the small little functions and nitpickies that I actually like. Many hardcore people don't use them, but I think times are sort of changing slowly where the technology in them is becoming important. Okay, so let's go over the main 5 there. Reliability factor. Yamaha has always been on top of their reliability and stuff not going wrong. I would not move them from that post. I think they still earn that spot. Downside about Yamaha, they've not been doing things for a long time. They changed their design now. I've not had my hands on any of those new units, so I can't really comment. But like previous gens, let's go flagship, from the 3050 upwards, there were no real changes. They did nothing. They actually went backwards. So that's the con for Yamaha. Reliability still up there. Next, then the 2 I always go for, Denon, Marantz. Very reliable, very good. You do sometimes get your odd thing that goes wrong with them, out of the box maybe, small things, very small things. But if you run them, reliability, very good. The failures that I've had on them would be HDMI boards, but that's not always the unit's fault. Like I mentioned, the plugins, people plug in those plugs wrong, power surges, lightning, that fries an HDMI board. Sorry guys, I had to stop and start again. Okay, so so HDMI boards. They're lightning, power surges that fries the boards, so it's not really a fault on the unit side. They are rock solid. They are my number 1 to go, because maybe Yamaha is one up on comebacks and reliability. Denon and Marantz has way more toys, and for me has a better sound signature. Okay, so next one on here, Onkyo. Onkyo used to be, back in the day, for me, when I started in this hobby, a no-go, because they used to fail every second one. We used to laugh on the forums when the guy comes in, my Onkyo doesn't give any sound or doesn't do this, and it's like, Onkyo again. But I'm going to give them another go, because the new units coming in now, we're just waiting for shipment. We've been waiting for shipment for months, but hopefully they come. Apparently they are very good, so I'm going to give them another shot, get their units in and see if they're much better. And I think because there's more money behind them now, because Pioneer has partnered with Onkyo, so the Pioneer Elites and the Onkyos are basically like Denon and Marantz now, where they sort of the same units. So I'll get both of those in when they do come in for review. And also my reviews are long-term reviews, so I actually have the units for months and I live with them. So it's not like the other reviewers where we had it for a few days. I give you a long-term review, what the snags are, reliability, and. Okay, so did we cover all those? Yes, we did. Now let's go on to the higher guys. Rotel. Did I mention Rotel? Can't remember. Rotel. One of my favorite go-to power amplifiers and stereo integrators. So they also make AVRs and they make processors. Very reliable units. If I can say one thing about Rotel, is they don't fail. Those things last forever. The build quality is just like a tank. Downside, They don't have the toys. They recently got D-Rack Live on, which is a pro because they didn't have processing. They didn't have any room calibration on before. I will do a different video on room calibration and how the different ones stack up. So I'm not going into that now. But Rotel does not have the toys that the Denon and Marantz has. And I've actually been battling with this myself for a while, where I want to go Rotel standalone processing power amplifier. But then there's so many features I'm going to miss on the Marantz and the Denon that's not there. So you have to decide, do you need those toys or don't you? Okay, next one. Let's go NAD, because this is a bit of a moot point for me. NAD, all the years, they used to be the go-to amplifiers. Every second person's uncle had a NAD 5020 back in the day. They sound phenomenal. They still do. Downside, they sort of try to get with the new tech of this age, and it's a flop. The software behind their stuff just does not work. It sounds brilliantly. So let's take the NAD 778. I had the 777 and I had the 778. 777 was more reliable, albeit still had the new Blue OS on the back of it. It had the new OS and integrating system, and but it's funny. It's difficult to go through the menus. It doesn't remember when you do like D-Rack. It loses that sometimes. You need to recalibrate, to redo settings. It just goes wonky. Like I always say, it's like a McLaren. It's a brilliant car to drive. Just know that you're going to have to take it back to the dealer often and maybe just unplug it and plug it back in, and hopefully all the kinks go away. 778 is the worst out of all of them. Honestly, every single 778 that I've had in has had to go back for some sort of issue. And that for me has sort of not let me keep them anymore. I love them. They look brilliant. The touchscreen is awesome. The sound is amazing. But to live with, it's an absolute nightmare. So I always tell my clients, you get guys that do want that. So if you are a stereophile guy, you want to listen to your movies and surround sound, but stereo is your main focus, 778 is a no-brainer. There's no better unit. Nothing sounds stereo like a 778. Just know, if you're going to go full home theater, it's got its quirks. You're going to be resetting, recalibrating. It is so bad that every day I switched it on, I had to go into my settings first to make sure everything is correct before you start enjoying it. So it's not a plug, play and forget type of unit. Okay, so Anthem, I've not had much experience. But from what I've gathered online, it's the same bag of chips. Very buggy software, brilliant sounding unit, brilliant looking unit, but the software side. So hopefully that these big guys do get on board. They should actually outsource their software through someone like the same guys that do Denon and Marantz. But that will never happen. So hopefully they get that stuff on board and sorted out. Yeah, guys, so I hope that answers a lot of your questions on reliability and what to go for. I always say go for the Denon Marantz, Yamaha, Onkyo, Pioneer. If I'm missing anyone there, excuse me, but I don't think I am. Those are the 5 big boys. And if you want something more bespoke, you can look at the other ones. Just know they do come with their quirks and stuff that still needs to be ironed out. Some stuff so bad, like it's a feature on the unit, but it's not even been updated or ready to go. Saying that, Denon and Marantz also had that with their new boards, the 2.1 HDMI or the HDCP 2.3. That is sorted out now. All the new units, I've had no problems. And even if you do have the older units, just contact one of your dealers or your local agent. They will sort you out with the HDMI box that upgrades those signals for your PlayStation 5 and your Xbox. And then also I see they launched the new HDMI, not a splitter, but a selector now that's made by Denon. So it looks very cool. It's got 3 inputs at the back and 1 output. So you can plug your PlayStation, Xbox, and let's say an 8K streamer comes available, all in there, and you can then select via the remote. That solves all the problems everyone's complaining about, that there's only one 8K input and. Going back to the bespoke guys, they don't even have 8K units yet. There's no 2.1. So they can say, yeah, there's no content. But for gamers, guys, you need that. Almost everyone now has started moving into PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. And you don't want to plug it into the TV and via ARC, and you want to know it works into the receiver. So it's the way we're moving. So everyone should get on that board and surf it or sail it. Anyways, so yeah, please comment below, guys. What do you want to see in these morning chats? Any topics you want to talk about? Things you want to know, stuff that doesn't really get mentioned, and even long-term reliability on speakers, amplifiers, projectors. What do you want me to talk about? Pros and cons, that sort of thing. Okay, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe. Helps me out a lot, doesn't cost you a cent. Till the next video, cheers, bye.